Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm ready to talk about the week that was in pro wrestling. So I'm going to cover WWE Monday Night Raw and NWA Power. I'll cover AEW Fyter Fest, which was the 4-hour spectacular we got last night. I'll do that on Monday along with SmackDown. And I'm doing this now because, I got someone coming to look at my electrical box tomorrow. So I don't know how long my place will have be out of electricity. So figured I'd do this now. Nice, simple, to the point. We start off with Monday Night Raw. And it's a video recap of last week's main event, which was the Triple Threat Money in the Bank qualifier. And then we got the cash-in, I guess, of the bet. So basically, the two announcers, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, bet had a little friendly bet going on their basketball teams. Michael Cole with the Knicks, Pat McAfee with the Pacers. If the Knicks would have won, McAfee would have worn a nice suit. But the Pacers won, so Michael Cole had to wear a t-shirt. He ended up wearing a Indiana Pacers basketball jersey, which definitely looked interesting. And he actually had it on underneath his suit, so I don't know how comfortable that would have been. So, alright, nice seeing that get a payoff at least. It's not really in tune with any real storyline, but it's just fun to see, I guess. So next we get an In the Ring CM Punk promo, saying how it's summertime, it's Money in the Bank time. I hear a little bit of thunder, considering they're in Oklahoma. So that's one half of the finals. Saying we're on pace for a thunderstorm here. The finals are on, but you need to watch Raw and SmackDown, which, nice little plug from Mr. Punker. And he continues, it's Summer of Punk time. So, if you all don't remember, there was a time before Punk got fired from the WWE, he had a nice little WWE title run in the summer. Although it ended with him losing to The Rock. So, let that be what it is. So he continued, I've had the Money in the Bank twice. I successfully cashed it in twice. And I'm looking forward to doing it for a third time. It's time for Punk to get some gold. And there's two people currently on the top. Jey Uso, I love you. And I'm coming for you. Because I want the world title. And then there's someone I have a ton of history with, holding the WWE title hostage, and his name is John Cena. So I learned to cut my teeth in places like this. Cena, you're public enemy number one because he sold his soul. Cena, I got your number. I'll pick your bones, you little bitch. I'm surprised Netflix didn't censor that. That was awesome. So he continues, I'm qualifying tonight, and before he can go any further, Sami Zayn comes out. Well, I'm thinking, is he about to turn heel now? Instead, he kind of gives a weird rah-rah speech where he says, where actually, Punk says first, normally I would hate this, someone interrupting me, but I'm not mad, it's you. Sammy says, I appreciate that, and I gotta be honest, I'm here to speak about your plan to become world champion. I too have my ambitions on becoming world champion. And thanks to the Heyman guys, Money in the Bank, I couldn't qualify for the Money in the Bank. But Money in the Bank isn't my match. Tell me you understand tonight. You must win. Tonight is more must win than ever. And I'm thinking of Reed, Braun, and Seth. Don't think about them. Jay and I will deal with them. Focus on the task at hand. You need to be in Money in the Bank. And if Seth wins, this place is over. It's going to turn into something we won't like. And we all need you to win tonight. And should you win, you and me will go face to face again and have a very different conversation. So Punk replies, I look forward to that, Sammy. They then shake hands, and that was the end of the segment. Definitely very interesting from Sami Zayn. I was surprised none of the Heyman guys came out to attack either of them. But, yeah, it's very interesting to see how this storyline is going to progress, especially with later. Little spoiler alert. So then we get a recap of Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane from last week. Then we see Raquel and Liv. They're kind of chatting in the back. We really don't hear what they have to say. Roxanne Perez then walks up, says, hey, I'm going to be in your corner in your match tonight. So Liv turns to Roxanne and says, you really want to help me? Okay, loser. Bye. And they walk off. Io Sky then walks in and says, oh, it's you. Look at her. Watch me. And Liv just storms off. So that was a nice little interaction between those four. We'll see what happens post Money in the Bank, because I think this story is really building to a fever pitch a little. We then get Stephanie Vaquer hype video, which was really cool. It was a video promo, but I did not catch half of the stuff she said because I do not speak Spanish, and she talks very, very fast. And I know there's subtitles on, which I do appreciate, but I could not keep up with what she said. So, anyway, next up is the last women's Money in the Bank qualifier. You got Liv Morgan taking on Ivy Nile, taking on Stephanie Vaquer. And, oh my goodness, this match ruled. Like, this was an awesome little matchup. All three got their stuff in really well. Even Liv got some good stuff in. A couple times, Stephanie Vaquer hits the Devil's Kiss, which is Vaquer head smashing her opponents with her legs, which is just impressive. Near the end of the match, Ivy takes out Liv on the outside. She gets back in, and then Stephanie hits the SVB to pick up the win and qualify. Yeah, if you saw my predictions for last night for Money in the Bank, this women's Money in the Bank ladder match is stacked. There's not a single woman in this match I would be mad at if they won. And it's awesome. It's cool. So next we see AJ Styles. He's kind of warming up in the back. And then we see the camera pan out. It's Paul Heyman of all people. So that's interesting. So Heyman says, AJ says, "What can I do for you, Paul?" Heyman then says, "What can you do for me? You can accept my wishes for a happy birthday, and I got you a gift, some information. I have a list of people coming in, and the IC champion needs a champ like you. Money in the Bank is going to be too much. Forget Money in the Bank, focus on Dom, and leave Money in the Bank to Seth." So AJ retorts, "Paul, are you tired? Tired of choosing feelings? I bet this conversation would go, you thought this conversation would go different. I don't respond to threats. I know this is what that was. And no, I will push back. And go tell Seth I know all about Money in the Bank." He then kind of gets a little close to Heyman and says, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." That is such a good little interaction, and it puts some really interesting puzzle pieces together. This is going to be interesting. We then get a video promo from Rusev, who says, "Sheamus, you look good, man, but I'm trying to fix the weak. Last week you tried to help Tozawa. I am not the man I was. You have fight in you. You are a true legend. It'll be my honor to end this and send you home." So then we see later on in the back, Sheamus and Tozawa kind of talking together, along with I think it was Natalya and Maxine Dupree. I forgot her name. So they talk for a minute. Alpha Academy walk off. Then an interviewer walks up, asks Sheamus about Rusev. He says, "Me and Rusev, we go way back. We've been friends. We've been enemies. He made all the bad decisions his entire career, both inside and outside the WWE." Little dig at AEW. That's nice. He continues, "But you come back the coward's way. I'll put some manners into him, and I bully bullies." Oh, that was a fire promo from Sheamus. Love it. Love it. So next up, a bit of a rematch from a while ago. I want to say it was like last month. You got JD McDonough and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day taking on the War Raiders. And this was a fun little matchup. I wouldn't say super anything home to write about, but it's kind of a step up from what we saw previously. So near the end, Ivar is attempting the Doomsault. Roxanne Perez then distracts the ref and Ivar. Finn Balor then tosses him off the top rope. JD with the moonsault. Finn with the dropkick and the misses on the coup de grace. No, hits the coup de grace to pick up the win for Judgment Day. Definitely an interesting start. I do hope we have more of a plan for the men's tag division on Raw, because it kind of feels like they've given up on the tag division, which is weird. Although, definitely a little storyline motivation. Roxanne Perez helping Finn and JD successfully. So I'm wondering if this is kind of the start of the Judgment Day breakup, like the real start. Next, we get a pre-recorded Becky Lynch promo. I have no idea where she is. So she says, I've been holding this back for weeks. Lyra cost me the shots that I deserve. And it's just become an echo chamber for the haters. She forgot what I've done for her in her career. She had the greatest match of her career because of me. And now you're in a lose-lose situation at Money in the Bank. And I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you. We then kind of get the start of a Stephanie Vaquer interview. Where she says she's feeling great. She's feeling ready for money. And then she stops. Rhea Ripley walks up. Extends the hand. They shake hands. So it looks like we are getting a bit of a loose alliance between Vaquer and Rhea, which I think could be good. So next up, we get a nice little fired up promo from Lyra Valkyria. She's in the ring. She says, wow, such brave words from Becky Lynch. How about you get out here so I can say what I have to your face? So, obviously, this brings out Becky Lynch. Becky tries to start. This is going to be... But before she can get another word out, Lyra says, no. All you did was show you're delusional. You only stay on top because you stopped being a good person. And now I'm angrier. I needed to get angry. No one has hurt me like you did. And you unlocked a sword to destroy you. Becky responds, at Money in the Bank, I stop you from No, this is Lyra still, actually. I stop you from poisoning what it means to be the Intercontinental Champion. Becky then says, oh, I see you're speaking emotionally tonight. I think you want excuses to hate me because you want to replace me. I wanted to make you better, and the thing that hurt you the most is you're raising my hand at Money in the Bank. But now it's... Lyra then says, oh, it's time to put your money where your mouth is, and let's do this. So Lyra throws down the title, starts, kind of undressing, getting ready for a fight. Becky bails out of the ring. She says, see you at Money in the Bank. Becky starts to walk up the ramp. Lyra chases her right down and just starts beating her down a little bit. Becky fights back for a little. And then security comes out to break them up. So, we're definitely getting some development in not only the story, but also with Lyra herself, which is awesome. Then we get a nice little Penta video promo / vignette. Again, I do not speak Spanish, so I had a hard time translating. And while, again, there were subtitles, they went a little too quick for me. So, it is what it is. Next up, we got a little tag team match players, as Jey Uso teams up with Sami Zayn to take on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker of the Paul Heyman family. And this, at least to start, was a Braun and Bronson beatdown of Sami Zayn. Like, they threw pretty much everything except their finishers at him. Eventually, he does tag in Jey Uso. He fights off the two big men. Um, but eventually, Jey Uso goes for a dive. It gets caught by Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn with a dive of his own. And as he's celebrating, out comes Seth Rollins, who attacks Sami from behind, hits a stomp. So technically, winner via DQ is Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. As Jey Uso tries to fight Seth off, but the numbers are too much. Bronson Reed attempts a tsunami through the announce table, but Punk saves Sami. And then Punk and Seth have a face-off before Punk takes a swing at Seth, and Seth rolls out of the ring. So, this one kind of annoys me, because if you're going to book a match like this, I'd like to see an actual winner and loser. The disqualification stuff is uninteresting. Like, I understand you want to keep all four of these guys looking good, and the loss may not do that. But I feel like the Paul Heyman family needs a big win at some point. So, next up, we see the Judgment Day, minus Carlito, who is also on his way out of the company. With Finn saying to them, we needed to be good out there. And then he sees Dom. He says, Dom, can we talk separately? So they kind of go off on a side tangent, saying, I see Roxanne giving you all these gifts. Dom then says, well, yeah, Roxanne's just looking out for us. Finn then replies, yeah, Roxanne got us back on track. She's going to be bringing the women's title in for us. And while she did come on a little strong, trust will come with some time. So then Liv walks in, says, I'm going to send Roxy in to help Raquel in her match tonight. So then Liv turns to Raquel, says, look, actually it's Dom turns to Liv, says, look, last week with the chairs, Liv says, no, look, don't worry about that. It's all under the bridge. Dom then asks, are you sure? Liv then says, yes, I am sure. Gentlemen, I know I'm not, one to give relationship advice. If your woman says everything is fine, everything is not fine. So, yeah, we're looking for a big Judgment Day breakup any day now. But next up, we go right into this next match, as it's Kairi Sane taking on Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel looked interesting in this matchup. I know she's not, a technical wizard, but she did her thing really well. Near the end of the match, Sane goes for the insane elbow, but Liv distracts her. Standing rings, getting up on the apron. Then out comes Io Sky to fight off Liv Morgan. Then Raquel tries to suplex Io. That gets blocked into a couple of kicks. An insane elbow drop to pick up the win. So, Kairi Sane on a little bit of a roll. I'm not sure if we're going to see her and Io challenge for the tag titles. I kind of hope not. But if Asuka isn't ready to go, why not? So next up, we see Sami Zayn. He's in the back in the locker room somewhere. When in walks Karrion Kross, who says, Obviously, this started rough. Then Sammy turns to Cross and says, "Look, man, what's your obsession with me? What gives?" And Cross says, "It's because you're a liar. You could have been world champion 10 times over by now. But Sammy, you're not a good guy. You're a bad guy." Sammy then turns to Cross, looks him right in the eyes, and says, "No, you're wrong." Cross then says, "I might be wrong, but I also might be right too." So, a little interesting verbiage. I am definitely willing to see where that goes. We then get a card rundown for AAA WWE Worlds Collide, which that looks like a dang good card. We then get a rundown of the Money in the Bank card, which looks decent. Then we get a Gunther versus Jey Uso hype video, which looked absolutely great. We then see Jey Uso. He's in the back. Looks like he's kind of in the same locker room as Sammy just was. Then Gunther walks in. And he's like, "Well, not here to fight." Gunther then sits down right next to Jey and says, "Jey, I appreciate the effort in being champion. You think it with your head instead of your heart. Your selflessness in a selfish world. Sure, you'll be there for Sammy and defend the title versus me, but you're also tagging with Cody. And all of that is none of your business. None of the business of the world champion. You're making things very easy. In 1 week, the party's over." So Jey gets up, says, "Hey, Gunther, one word, yeet. See you next week." And that ends the segment. That was, short, sweet, to the point. And I think it got both characters over really, really well. And that brings us to our main event of Monday Night Raw. And it's the last men's qualifying match for Money in the Bank. As we got AJ Styles taking on CM Punk, taking on El Grande Americano. I gotta tell you, I do not remember the last time AJ and Punk shared a ring. I think it was all the way back in Ring of Honor. But either way, this is nuts. How is WWE not making this a bigger deal? Anyway, so both AJ and Punk at the start just start beating on Americano, eventually tossing him on the outside. They have an interesting one-on-one contest for a bit. AJ attempts the phenomenal forearm, but Grande pushes AJ Styles off the middle rope. Then Punk goes after Grande's mask. Grande then hits a jawbreaker in the ropes, hits a crossbody, and hits a pounce over the announce table. Gets him back in. He attempts a superplex. That gets blocked by Punk. AJ comes in. Hits a double superplex on both of them. Punk with an elbow drop. Grande with a crossbody. But Punk catches him, rolls through it, goes for the GTS, but AJ saves Grande. AJ attempts the Styles Clash. That gets blocked into an ankle lock, which that was impressive. Styles eventually gets out, kind of Ranas Grande into Punk, has him up for the GTS. That gets blocked by Grande, locks him in another ankle lock. Punk eventually finds his way out, does the same thing into AJ. AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash for a 2 count. AJ and Punk trading finish attempts a little later on. Grande with a moonsault onto both of them. Only gets a 2. Goes for it again. Grande face plants. Eats a GTS only for a 2 count. But only because Braun Breaker pulled CM Punk off of Grande. Then Braun and Reed just start beating the heck out of Punk. Sammy and Jey Uso then make the save. AJ Styles with a big dive on all of them. Then we see in the background El Grande Americano putting that metal plate in his mask, loading it up. AJ attempts the phenomenal forearm that gets countered into the big old headbutt by Grande, who covers Styles and picks up the win. So, I was not expecting El Grande Americano to make it. I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, and as much as I would like to see either Punk or AJ in Money in the Bank, I don't know. I feel like maybe that's the wrong call for now. Maybe we'll see something come out from this El Grande Americano stuff. So post-match, the Heyman family, Punk, Sammy, and Jay start brawling. AJ eventually gets in there. Punk attempts a GTS that gets blocked into a big old Braun Breaker spear. Sammy then gets into it with Braun. Reed beat down on Sammy. Seth with a big stomp. Super kicks for everybody not on his side. Then Seth with an irate to Punk. Braun with a spear. Seth with a stomp. And then to cap it off, Bronson Reed with a big old tsunami. So now, I don't know if this beatdown was to write CM Punk off TV for a time. I haven't heard that he's injured or anything. So, I'll keep my eyes on. Hopefully he's okay. So, I'm going to say this, a very okay episode of Raw. I'm glad we finally got the final 2 participants in the Money in the Bank match. I am a little sad we're not getting the everybody on ladders cutting promos on each other thing that previous lead-ups to Money in the Bank would have. But it is what it is. So, yeah, we'll see who gets the win at Money in the Bank. And next up, we got NWA Power. A very interesting start to the episode because we get sensitivity training. And it's in some, garage somewhere. And we have certain superstars paired off, like Gags and Markova are paired off. Brian Idol and Silas Mason are paired off. And then there's one other one I can't think of. I think it was Carson Drake and not Alex Taylor. I don't know who I'm thinking of. And the first 2 groups, they do a good job at, saying something nice. But then we get to Silas and Austin Idol, and they're just riffing on each other. It starts out, oh, I like the way your shirt doesn't make you look fat. And then Silas makes a comment about Idol's broken arm. And it was just a roast fest, and it was absolutely hilarious. And Silas and Idol stand up, and they just stare daggers into one another. So, I guess we're getting that match at some point. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So the first matchup of the evening, and it's a four corners tag match. So we got four teams out here. This match is elimination style, so it does not take one pin to win the match. And it's for the number 2 seed in the Crockett Cup, which is upcoming. So our teams, we got Daisy Kill and Talos, former United States Tag Team Champions. Primo and Epico Cologne, which it's definitely been a little while since they've been on TV. Carnage and Damage of BFT. No Aaron Stevens, as he's still healing. Although, minor spoiler alert, he does come out during this match. And the final team, we got Odinson and Kratos, the Immortals. And yeah, this match was really, honestly insane. A lot of big spots all around. And then after a big dive spot by Daisy Kill, out comes Aaron Stevens. But he's not all normal. He looks beat up. He's got one arm in a sling. Another arm is holding a crutch. Just trying to make it to the ring. So, yeah, definitely, definitely a little bit more back and forth after that. Odinson with the biggest pounce I've ever seen since Monty Brown. And then after that, he gets the pin on Daisy Kill. That eliminates Daisy Kill and Talos. Actually, before that, Stevens was trying to get involved. Odinson got out of the way of a crutch shot. He hits Carnage, roll up for the elimination of BFT. So it looks like they're breaking up BFT and Stevens, which could be interesting. So that leaves us with the Colognes and the Immortals. And I'm going to say this. These guys had some great chemistry working together. You know, big guy versus little guy thing going on. But after an F5 from Odinson, an uppercut gets countered. Clothesline over the top. Then Primo grabs a hold of the crutch. He was going to go hit Kratos. Referee grabs it. Takes it. Puts it on the outside. Low blow to the big man. Then Primo with the backstabber to pick up the win. And solidify the Colognes as the number 2 seed. Like, that was a very, very fun, intricate little match. A lot of moving pieces, too. So we'll see how this affects the Crockett Cup. So then we get, like, a on-location kind of promo from Joe Kazana. He's on set of an actual news, of what looks like to be an actual news studio. And he's talking to, I want to say, an assistant or something. And he says to the guy, look, I'm territory president. You heard of the NWA? Guy goes, no. WCW? No. Have you heard of Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen? Guy goes, no. Well, then he says, well, you look like you got the body of a wrestler. Then this woman comes in, kind of gets the assistant out of the way. She says, hi, I'm Chelsea, which, that's interesting. I'm going to be conducting your interview today. Joe Kazana then says, oh, that's fine. We're going to do this by the books. Chelsea then walks off. Kazana then says to the camera, I'm gonna send them to school so they fit in? Question mark. Yeah, I didn't really hear what he said, so it was a little awkward, but it's about to get way more awkward with them. Just you wait. So next up, a very interesting matchup. We got Damian Fenrir, who debuted in a tag match last week, taking on NWA newcomer Crazy Steve. Now, if you don't remember him, he was the third member of Rosemary's group in Impact, along with her in Abyss. And he looks absolutely phenomenal. He's definitely upped his face paint. He's shaved his head. He looks like $1 million. And he wrestled like $1 million. Especially for a blind guy. And honestly, this match was a whole lot of fun. It definitely felt a little bit sped up from everything else. But I think that's the key for a good junior heavyweight division. With eventually Crazy Steve locking in the fish hook, which that looks nutty all the time, wraps his legs around Fenrir for the tap out victory. So hopefully that does get a finisher name, because Crazy Steve, I see him going places here in the NWA. So next up, we got the Don't Think Today segment, which is the Joe Kazana interview segment, which, like I said, it looks like an actual, news set, which is very, very cool. So Kazana says to the interviewer, "Oh, I love Alabama. I still love your peanuts. You do produce the best peanuts in the U.S. One more good thing you offer, more peanuts." He then says, Joe Kazana's territory president, not to be confused with NWA president William Patrick Corgan. But I can tell you the rats love peanuts too. So why don't you come down to Hard Times, roam around with the boys. And then the woman interviewer is like, no. So then we cut to weather. And then we hear Joe Kazana say, I thought that was a little too awkward. Can we retake that? The interviewer then says, this shit was live. And then we hear Silas Mason flip out. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he's joining the Kazanas? I don't know. That's a little weird. And then, Silas Mason just kind of walks out. And that's the end of the segment. So, we're gonna see where that goes. We then get the Around the Territory segment, which I absolutely dig. A lot of good stuff coming for NWA and their territory. But now we go to our main event of the evening, and it's for the NWA national title, as we got Wrecking Ball Legursky making his return to singles action, taking on the champion Mims. And this was pretty much just a power versus power the entire time. Jeez at one point grabs Wrecking Ball's leg. Wrecking Ball then drags him in with his leg. Looks like he was about to stomp Black G's in the head. G's moves. Mims then gets Wrecking Ball to the outside of the ring, throws him in the ring post, and the ring steps fights him a little bit on the outside. Then Mims locks in a sleeper. Ref comes over, checks on Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball gets his shoulder up. He fights out. But Mims with an eye rake. Big splash. A big old DDT, which that was impressive, only to get a 2 count. Mims then just straight up chokes Wrecking Ball on the ground. Wrecking Ball then gets up, hits a couple of headbutts, hits a hip attack. Then Black G's then gets up on the apron to distract Wrecking Ball. Then a hooded someone gets in the ring, hits Wrecking Ball with a big chain. Mims with the roll-up, and your winner, still NWA National Champion, it's Mims. So post-match, Mims and G's get out of there. The hooded figure is revealed to be Wrecking Ball's former partner, Jay Bradley. So the Fixers have finally imploded. Bradley gets in the ring and just attacks Wrecking Ball with the chain, whips him with it, wraps his hand with it, and punches him with it. It's brutal. And yeah, that's how power ends. So Wrecking Ball Legursky Jay Bradley feud. Never thought I'd see that these days, but I'm interested to see what they can do against one another. So that was NWA Power. Some really good wrestling, some fun segments, and some really good lead-ups to the Crockett Cup event. So hopefully you stay tuned for that. We got, on Monday, I'm going to be covering AEW Dynamite and WWE SmackDown. Then on Tuesday, I'm going to be covering Money in the Bank. So hopefully you stay tuned for that. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.